you get the buy-in that you need from the people that, may not be as easily willing to give it up front, to say it the nicest.
Yes, definitely. That's a tough one. It's always tough when people don't like change, even though, you can show them. And
Welcome to the Financial Innovations Podcast, helping CFOs save money and time by implementing cutting-edge tools. I'm here with Jen Chavez. Jen, it's very exciting to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So, I read a little bit about your background and very interesting and, impressive story. I don't know if you want to start by just introducing yourself and, talking a little bit about it, and then we could jump into, why we're here.
Yes, thank you. I've been in accounting for over 25 years in different roles. I was born in Mexico, came to the U.S. when I was 14 years old, around there. And, came from just poverty. And I told myself I wanted to make something of myself, be a better future mother because I wanted to be a mom. And here I am, 25 years later.
That's great. So, I saw that you've, worked in a variety of roles, a variety of companies, startups, as well as, where you are today. I think, what you bring to our audience here is, knowledge of, working in small to mid-sized organizations, from startup to, where your current organization is today, and, bringing the knowledge around, when is the right time to seek out, certain technology in the business, and so forth. So, I guess where I'd like to start, knowing that you worked for, a startup in the past is, I'm sure, you started out being heavily involved in Excel based reporting and, not necessarily any tried and true reporting tools. So where I wanted to start was, at what point did you kind of make the transition from spreadsheets to, actual, FP&A types of tools when doing your reporting and analysis?
It was overdue before we went into any of the tools. Overdue for sure. I think as a startup, you want to, you spend your money in other places. You're not thinking about clean financial reports. You're not thinking about dashboards. You're not thinking about any of that. So by the time you need it, it's way overdue. So we were in spreadsheets and QuickBooks for a few years. And when we finally decided to acquire another software was when our auditors were saying, I can't issue you a clean audit because in QuickBooks you can go in and just change your financials just from 3 months ago. So so we had to think of a tool, and we, at that time my budget wasn't very big. So we went and researched a bunch of softwares, and we found one that met our needs at that time, but we knew we were going to outgrow it a few years after. So we still had to do it because it was the tool we could afford, and
Sure.
we implemented it. It took us from point B to C, and then at C we had to make another choice, which we did. But it was, at that time, it was what we could afford, and even if it's a small upgrade, I think it's worth it. It gives you it gives your auditors the peace of mind. So yeah, definitely. And then after that tool, we had to implement another one. This was more of a grown-up ERP, and it was a good choice for us. At that time, we went to each of our departments within the company, purchasing and operations, critical operations, sales, and we went and said, well, what is it? Give me your wish list. And it's very important that you get the buyout of all the departments. It's very important that they feel heard and that they get the tools that they need.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, because it sounds like the first time you went through your upgrade, it was more audit driven of, hey, you have to do this if you want us to certify your books over there and be able to sign off on it. And then it was just, hey, what can we get pushed in that's inside of our budget? You weren't necessarily thinking, how do we get everything we need out of this? You knew that we just need to satisfy the auditors today, but tomorrow we'll look at something a little bit more robust. Then the second time you go through it, it's okay. Now let's treat this like a real project, and let's get the buy-in we need, and let's go to the people we need to go to, and gather around what would make this the best type of system possible.
Definitely, definitely. And getting the buyout of each department, it's crucial because it'll either champion your software or just totally tank your decisions. So,
Yeah. And I work with a lot of companies where it's funny because the smaller types of companies always say, oh, if only we had the budget of a bigger company, we'd have everything done right. The bigger companies don't quite invest in what they should, and it's still not right in those types of environments over there. But what's kind of universal that you run into, regardless of whether it's a small company, large company, is there are some people that they're just willing to get on board with whatever they think is going to help the company. And all you have to do is say, this is going to help us get what we need. And they say, what do you need from me? And then there are the people that, either want to make their own mark on it, don't want to adapt to change as easily, for whatever the reason, that are just dragging their feet a little bit and don't want to get on board. So I think it's helpful to kind of share with the audience like how do you get the buy-in that you need from the people that may not be as easily willing to give it up front, to say it the nicest.
yes, definitely. That's a tough one. It's always tough when people don't like change, even though you can show them in plain in a presentation in black and white and say, look, this is going to help you. This is going to give you what you need. This is going to give you the reporting you're always asking me for, or that you're been wanting. And people like status quo. People like this is what I do. I want to keep on doing this. I don't want to learn anything else. And the company's doing fine as it is right now. Why do you want to change it? If it's not broken, don't fix it. That's what you hear a lot. But I think little by little, with the people that do want to change, we get those people on board, and little by little, by training, by showing them, by um, maybe sitting down with them, depending on who it is. My staff accountants, if I can sit down with them and go take them through their day with the new software versus the older software, and a lot of the times people go, "Oh, okay, yeah, this makes my job easier," or "Oh, I see, I am getting the reporting."
Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's a matter of getting what you need pushed through, and over time it may change the sentiment or willingness of those people that may not have been bought in at up front to slowly get on board.
Definitely, definitely.
So it sounds like initially you were looking to implement an ERP system that would meet audit requirements, then go and upgrade to something that was a little bit more robust. Kind of post ERP, once you got your ERP to where you wanted it to be, what were some of the other challenges that you faced where you said, hey, there's now, a different type of tool or technology out there that we should be looking at?
You always want to stay up to date, right, with all of the technology. So you keep looking at how can I make the system better. I know we have what we need. I know we have the reporting, or we're creating the reporting. Maybe we have a few workarounds to create a report, or we have to create two or three in order to just come to this one. So you keep looking out. You keep going out there, looking for reports, looking for reporting tools, looking for um, uh, looking for dashboard reporting. All of our executives like dashboards, and they want to look at how the company's doing that day, what we're spending, what is due that day, things of that sort. And so you keep going out there, but sometimes, a lot of the times, your software implementation team will invite you to their conventions that they have. And there you start just searching, and you start discovering a lot of tools that you might maybe not need, but they'll be a plus. Or maybe you're looking into the future and you're thinking, well, we're going to need this eventually. So instead of being behind the eight ball, you start, looking at it and maybe slowly implementing until you get it. And by the time you get it, you're ready.
Sure.
So it's always good to stay up to date. Your like I said, your implementation team will help you. They will send you invitations to conventions, or they will tell you about reporting tools that are out there, dashboard tools that are out there that you might need. And they're always a big plus, because now you can these reporting tools that sit on top of your ERP are way easier to implement. So
Mm-hmm.
then you can, when you implement them, you basically are championing your software, the ERP decision that was made.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great point that you bring up about, staying cutting edge, because, many companies, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, I need an ERP. Okay, we implemented the ERP, check the box. Right now I need a reporting tool, implemented a reporting tool, check the box. Now I need, dashboards, so implement a BI tool, check the box. And, they fail to realize that it's not just you check the box. It's an iterative process of, the box is never fully checked. It's always a matter of, let's revisit, let's refine, let's improve on what we're doing. And, many companies see the conferences and things that are out there as, oh, this is just a sales pitch to go and sell me another product. But, it's important to know. And I know you brought this up, that, those conferences are great for learning about what tools and technologies out there to, you may not know that you need those types of tools. And it's also great to network with other people that are in either similar industries, or, even if they're in a totally different industry, understanding how they use those tools to maybe give you some ideas in terms of, how to refine what you have, or maybe different metrics you should be looking at in addition to, to what you're currently doing.
Definitely. I've gone to some of those conferences, and, there are times where all of the clients are talking and they go, well, I have a problem. I don't know how to post this invoice, and it keeps
Mm-hmm.
giving me a tax that I don't need, or, whatever it might be. And there's another customer that says, oh, I know how to do that. We did it this way. And you come out of there with things that are you can fix when you get back, and you come out of there with technology that just uh, might be discovered, and you didn't know about it because you just implemented 6 months ago, and now 6 months later there's new technology.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's great. Another thing you mentioned that I thought was very interesting was, finding out about new technology from, like, the consulting firm or implementation partner that's going in and putting in, whether it's your ERP or BI system, reporting, whatever it is that that they're doing, like what are some of the qualities, and what do you look for when you go and take on, an implementation partner? I know there are a lot out there that are great. There are a lot out there that are not so great. What kind of criteria do you look at to try and vet those that are coming into your organization and implementing a product?
A lot of the times, it's the team that's going to implement will do the presentation along with the sales team. So you want to look for that connection with that implementation team. You want to know that you're asking questions and they're answering right away. They are friendly. They want to be accommodating. They want to know what your pain points are. So I look for that when in presentations. I want to know that the team is there, the team that I'm going to be working with. I want to know that they are answering all the questions that we need, and that they're not, that they're being professional and friendly and helpful. And also, you want to know that they've done how many implementations they've done before. You want to call their customers. They'll probably give you a list of all of the implementations that they've done, and you want to call them. You want to see how did it go. Did the implementation begin on time? Did it end on time? Was it a successful implementation? Was it a successful go live? Were there any pain points? What were they? So all of those questions you want to ask before you make a decision. And even if you like the software, but you're not quite happy with the team that's there, you can certainly say, I would like to talk to another project manager or another project team, and interview other people, because they have different teams all over the country.
Yeah, no, that's great, because a lot of times companies just look at, hey, I asked a technical question, can you build me a dashboard that does XYZ? And the answer is always yes, we absolutely can do it, right? But there's more to it. It's how helpful are they being? Do they seem like the kind that would go above and beyond and actually take the time to learn about your business, care about what it is you're doing, so that maybe they can come up with better recommendations as some of these requirements are being vetted out.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
The other thing you said there was that about calling their references. I know a lot of companies shy away from doing it, just for the same reason as the companies that ask you to list your references when you look for a job don't call, because they figure you're only going to list the ones that were successful and that were positive. But it sounds like you're not just calling them and asking them, hey, was the project successful? You're asking the deeper questions of, hey, like, as I'm coming up with a budget, am I going to tell them that I have $100,000 and it's going to end up costing $500,000 in the end?
Exactly.
Are they going to tell me that it's going to take 2 weeks to do this and it's going to take 2 years to do it? It's about asking those detailed questions of, not just a matter of, are they going to get the job done, but can I trust what they're telling me from a time, budget, scope perspective, that, that I'm going to get what it is that I'm looking for.
Definitely, you got to ask those questions, because they'll tell you. All the customers will tell you what their pain points were, and that might be really helpful, um, so that you're you're watching out for those if you decide to go with that team.
Yeah, no, that's great. When you're going and whether it's researching different products to implement, or say you got a recommendation from someone of, hey, we found this new dashboard technology that you should look at. Like what are the main considerations that you're looking for when looking at, is this something that I should invest in or look into further?
Well, I think it's very important that you start with your wish list, right? Not with what the software can do, but the wish list of within your company, what you need, what you're needing, what you're looking for, what's missing right now, and if it can. help you with 80% of that list, it's a winner. Um, you look for a lot of the times they'll tell you all about their bells and whistles, but you're not really. It's nice, it's great that it can do X, Y, and Z, but you're looking for A, B, and C, so you got to make sure it's there. You got to
Mm-hmm.
make sure it's going to work. And you got to make sure it's going to work with your ERP, that it's going to connect with your ERP. How is the connection with your ERP going to work? Is it
Mm-hmm.
something that's going to take 6 months to implement? That might not be the way to go. Is it going to be an easy implementation, an easy
Sure.
connection?
Yeah, I think what's really great about what you said there was, it's not just about, hey, here's our wish list. Let's find the product that does all this. It's very rare or maybe even impossible to find the product that's going to do everything on the list. But, and this is something I always, recommend to customers that are, asking me to help them evaluate tools and do vendor selections and stuff is, you make the list of here's what we want, but also quantify, well, is this a must have? Is this a nice to have? Is this something you can't do your job without, or something that it would be, great and make your job easier if you had it? Or, something that you really, really want, but, it's a shot in the dark over there. Because it's important to know this is ideally what we could do. You could potentially find a separate product out there that does, something that, that you'd like and make your job easier, but also just, getting those core list of requirements satisfied with the product. So it's not something like, hey, you're going to get everything on here, but having that understanding of what can I live without? What can I live without? And then looking at, what at least satisfies the things that, I must have.
Exactly. There's a lot of times where you know other departments that don't work with FP&A are they have their wish list, and a lot of the times you can take two of the reports that we are going to get with this dashboard and you put them together, and then there's this other thing that they wanted, so you come up with other types of reporting that they can where they can get that information. If you can get a dashboard that has, I don't know, 80% of what you need. That I think that's one of the that's something worth looking at.
Sure. How important is it to look at like the maintenance involved in a tool prior to making the purchase? Like, is this something that's self-service? Is this something that we've got to get IT to support, or is this something we've got to either do a managed service with a company or contract somebody to go and do for us?
It's very important to look at it because it's almost as important as your implementation because want to know that someone's going to be there when there's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know that they have a person at a customer service. A You want to know that they have your back if the system goes down or if there's maintenance issues, anything of that sort. Or the reporting that you're creating is doubling up on everything, all of those things. You want to know that someone's going to be there for you. And you want to know how much that's going to cost you. So you want to look at all of the cost of managed services and maintenance, sometimes IT. It used to be that you have your software within your company, just in your servers. Now a lot of them are cloud based. So, but IT is still very much involved. You want IT on your side. You want IT to be there at every point so that they know what they need to do once all of your implementation team leaves.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I know you brought up about cloud based versus the traditional on premise software. When you're looking at tools, do you um, have any type of a higher perceived value, let's just say, on a cloud-based tool versus an on-prem, or are you really just looking at functionality and, it doesn't matter to you whether it's cloud or on a server?
To me, the accountant, it doesn't matter. To IT, it totally matters. So again, you want to have your IT team there to make sure that if it's an on-premise solution, that you have the servers that are going to support that software, that you have the servers, that you have the staff, that you have the knowledge in-house. If it's a cloud-based, then you also want IT to look at the security portions. Is it a safe
Sure.
software? Is it going to be, is my information going to be compromised? IT has to look at all of that. So, I think IT would tell you on-premise is best just because they have control over it.
Hmm.
To me, I think there's a lot of there is good in both. I'm looking more at the functionality rather than the security, the maintenance portion of it.
I know a lot of companies, I speak to a bunch of, FP&A folks, and they all, not all, but a good majority of them, always tell me that sometimes or many times it's a struggle to get buy-in from IT on certain tools. They're looking, at cutting edge tools, and IT's, either shooting it down or there's a little bit of resistance on that front. I'm not sure if that's something that you faced in the implementations that that you worked on, but I guess what advice would you give for the audience, just in terms of if people are facing resistance to, I really want this product, but IT doesn't want me to invest here or there, or they don't want cloud products, they only want on-prem, or they only want cloud and not on-prem, and those types of decisions.
I believe a lot of the fear of cloud base has gone away. Not all of it for sure, but a lot of it has gone away. And in time, IT has become more accustomed to cloud based solutions. But I would say my advice is just talk to your IT team. Make sure you know why they're shutting something down. They don't want to shut it down just because they're being mean or they're not being, they're not being cooperative, but they maybe they're seeing all of the security issues that this product may have, that we are not looking at it because we are just looking at the bells and whistles. They gotta maintain it. They gotta take care of it. They gotta make sure it's got the right security, the right protocols for the company. And a lot of the times it's just not secure enough. And I mean, nowadays you've seen all the hacks everywhere. Big hotels getting hacked, and
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want to. You don't want to put your company at jeopardy just because you were looking at some bells and whistles.
Sure. That's definitely great advice to go through and just make sure that, like you said, it's not that they're not doing it to try to make your life miserable. So, just try to understand where they're coming from, make sure they understand what you're looking to accomplish, and, try to get to something that, works for you, them, and for the company as a whole.
Definitely, we're a team. We're at the end of the day, we're a team, and we want to work well with each other, and we want to understand. They're trying to understand why we need this new software and how they can help us implement it and how they can help us maintain it. And we need to understand their side. Why is it that they're shutting it down? Is it a security issue? Is it that it's not well maintained? Things of that sort.
Sure. No, that's great advice. In terms of technologies, and what are you looking into next to to implement? What are some of the features and things that that you're looking for to help you in your organization?
Um, I'm looking for dashboards. We love dashboards. All of our executives love dashboards. So I want to make their dashboards better. I want to make sure that they're getting the information that they need on a timely basis. We also have over 80 entities that we issue financials for every month. So it's closing time. It's hectic. So just tools that would help us with all of our reconciliations, all of our dashboards, all of our reporting. I'm always looking to see what's out there, what can make our reporting better and more smooth, our close more smooth as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. Are there particular resources you find helpful for how to like research what's out there and what's what might be good to consider?
I always start with all of our implementation partners and what that we've used in the past. I'm always open to seeing a presentation or two. There are people that reach out to me on LinkedIn and um, tell me all about their software. So if I go and Google and see for myself, and then if I
Hmm.
find that it might be worth a shot, then I go through their small, uh, fast presentation that they do for you. But I always like to start with our implementation partners.
Yeah, and I know kind of what's been all over the news this past year is about AI, machine learning, that kind of stuff. Are those types of technologies things that are things you're interested in exploring more now? Is it something that you say, hey, I don't think it's where it needs to be yet, but it's something I'll consider in the future? What's kind of your stance on that?
I've looked at some of that. I don't think it's there yet for our business use, I guess.
Hmm.
We've used some chat GPT to create some reporting, some wording on our reports, but other than that, we're still kind of just keeping our eye on where it's going. But yeah, for sure, I'm very open to it. I mean, like I said, I think we got to stay up to date and with technology, it's very important.
Yeah, I know one of the fears and things that creates a little bit of resistance is there's a lot of buzz about people saying that, hey, if we implement AI in the company, then our jobs will go away. You think that once AI gets to the point where it would where it need to be for something for you to implement, that it's something that would be it might shift some jobs from X to Y, or do you think it would be a net creator of jobs, restrictor? What are kind of your thoughts around there?
I think it depends on how you're using it. There is even implementing an ERP system, just a straight ERP system will definitely change the needs in your staffing. Um, but just because one department might experience a reduction of workforce because of all of the new technology, um, it doesn't mean that all of the departments are going to experience the same. Some departments might experience a reduction in workforce. Some departments might experience, oh, now we're going to need two people instead of one, and it's the needs are different. So, do I think that it's going to get to the point where we won't need most of our people? No, I don't think so. I think there's always that um, human eye, and
Sure.
that is needed, and that all of the exceptions that maybe a computer or AI might not be equipped to to identify.
Yeah, exactly. Just the other day, I had ChatGPT write a macro for me, and it did exactly what I asked it to do. It took 2 minutes to generate, whereas if I were building it myself, it might take a couple hours, and it worked. But the important part was I knew exactly what to tell it in order for it to work on the first try, and that came from me having the understanding of writing macros versus you can bring AI into an organization, but you have to know how to use it and the best what it would need to know in order to accomplish the task it needs to accomplish.
Exactly. Yeah, you always, I mean, you can't just, like you said, you knew how to do it. You knew what to tell it. It's always that human portion is always needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we're coming up on time over here. Before we end, are there any parting words of wisdom or lessons learned or anything that you think it'd be important for our audience to know?
My word of advice is just be open to change. Be open to change. Keep your eye on new technology. It's might be easier to implement than you think, and being open to change will definitely get you started in the right direction to looking for the software that's needed or the reporting tools that are needed.
No, that's great. For anyone looking to either learn more about you or reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, and you can see it on the screen. LinkedIn, you can also find me on Instagram. Um, I have TikTok, but that's more just funny stuff. But yeah, anywhere you can reach out to me anywhere, any of those. And you can also reach me through email as well.
That's great. No, we appreciate having you on, and this has been very insightful. And hopefully, our audience gains the same out of this. That I certainly got a lot out of it. So we appreciate you coming on board and on here today. And hopefully, we can have a session in the future where we look at how your implementations and what you're looking at it evolves over time.
That would be great. I would really like that. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's all we have for today, folks. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our content to get more great guests like Jen on our show.